Welcome back, dear audience, to another episode of the Longevity and Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Claudia from Brizelaga, here to bring you the latest insights and learnings to improve your health, life, and happiness for longer. Thank you so much for being part of this tribe and wanting to be at your best each day. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast, either on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to not miss an episode. My guest today is Nataly Martinelli, a clinical psychologist, author, and pioneer in the integration of virtual reality into mental health care. I wanted to bring you this episode after speaking with her because I thought it was such a fascinating space to be in, and with really amazing results as well. So she has a passion for inspiring transformation and courage. Nataly has dedicated her career to helping individuals overcome emotional challenges and thrive. Starting with a strong foundation in psychology and business administration, Nataly further honed her expertise with advanced training from renowned institutions such as Harvard Medical School. Her unique journey bridges the gap between clinical practice and technological innovation, as she has developed groundbreaking virtual reality applications tailored to therapeutic settings. As the author of Phobia, Facing with Courage, Nataly offers a fresh perspective on mental health, empowering readers to confront their fears and embrace resilience. Her voice has reached audiences worldwide through nearly 200 interviews, articles, and media appearances, sparking meaningful conversations about the future of mental health care. Please enjoy. Welcome to the Longevity and Lifestyle Podcast, Nataly. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Claudia, for the invitation. It's a joy to be here today for this conversation. I'm really excited to share ideas and learn it together. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you on. I think the first time we had a proper conversation, it was like 2-3 hours. Everyone else had left and we were still had more and more to talk about. So I'm so excited today. And you have such a unique journey, Nataly, that I'd love if you would share. What was your journey to, where you are today? And what were the steps that gave you the idea to incorporate virtual reality as well into mental health? But let's start with your personal journey, because it is quite unique.
Okay, my experience in virtual reality in mental health started in a very personal way. My husband had an intensive fear of flying. He thought it was almost impossible to overcome. Even after trying different therapies and treatments, it's important to mention that around 25% of clients drop out of live treatments or never started because they fear facing their phobic object or related situations. I think it's important to get the difference between fear and phobia. Fear,
Yeah.
it's a normal feelings. Fear helps us stay safe. Phobia, it's a very strong fear that doesn't match the real danger. For example, being so afraid of spiders that you avoid going outside, example, even if spiders are not dangerous.
It's like a debilitating fear. So it's preventing you from actually acting in normal day life. That's the extent of the fear. So that becomes then classified as a phobia, essentially. Is that right?
Yes, perfect. In such cases, people often ask themselves, why do I have this fear? I don't want to live like this. My husband used to feel this way, and this ongoing struggle led us to look for a practical and innovative solutions that could truly help him face this challenge. That's when I found a virtual reality. Virtual reality, it's a tool that provides a sense of immersive interaction and engagement in a 360-degree artificial environment. Allows clients to observe, explore, and change their own thoughts process. To use this technology, you need, for example, a standard computer, a specific VR headset. I can show you mine here.
Is it a very specific one, like a
Yes.
certain brand, or if somebody has one, they can install the technology?
Needed to be specific for the software license. This is the most important. Okay, something like that. Unlike methods that rely on imagination, which
Mm-hmm.
can be hard for logical thinkers, like my husband.
Uh-huh.
VR offers a clear and safe way to face fears, step by step. This
Mm-hmm.
approach, Claudia, makes it easier to deal with challenges and it built
Mm-hmm.
confidence. It's showed us that change is possible when the right tools are used. At first, I didn't imagine working directly. I think this is so important to say directly
Mm-hmm.
with phobia in
Uh-huh.
that period, a long years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
one phrase that my husband changed everything. He said, "You have the knowledge, the practical vision, read so many, many books, and the desire to
Mm-hmm.
help. I believe you cannot help me, but also transform the lives of many others."
Can you break down exactly how that process works? So you knew, okay, your husband had the phobia of flying.
Yes.
You were doing your clinical psychology practice, or that you had as well. And so, how did you come up with the idea of marrying the two? Were you already an active user of virtual reality, and you're like, okay, maybe we can incorporate something, or where did the idea come from?
Come from because he had many treatments and it's not
Mm-hmm.
working. So we researched different tools for don't need to imagine to be inside in the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
So we found it together the virtual reality. And this makes the treatment better and more personal. I think this is the way that we found it together, not just thinking, but put it in practical, the way how you can have courage to facing the fear. I think that words that he told me, actually, just to return a little bit, changed my career.
Mm-hmm.
And as I work with virtual reality, I found the many ways that I could make treatments better. This idea inspired me in the past to team up with experts from,
Experts.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
from different
And
areas to create a virtual reality software for mental health. These results was a platform that includes immersive experience to treat phobias, manage
mm-hmm.
anxieties, and improve emotional regulations.
Mm-hmm.
It integrates techniques such as mindfulness exercise, diaphragmatic breathings, and others. This path also inspired me to write my first book, that is Phobia Facing with Courage. I
Mm-hmm.
wrote it as a gift from my husband and as a way to share these courage methods I developed during this process. More than a tribute, the book
Mm-hmm.
was designed to inspire and help others uh, confront their fears,
Mm-hmm.
transforming their lives and with strength and determinations. I never imagined is that along this transformative path, writing would become one of my greatest missions. I remember actually a doctor who, when I was a child, told my parents it would be difficult for me to complete a college due to the
Mm-hmm.
symptoms I exhibited. Today, I see that our challenges are powerful gateways to skills, self awareness, and the fulfillment when we embrace and act in a favor of our own growth.
So let's break that apart a little bit, Natalie, and maybe you could share a little bit about that as well, like overcoming personal challenges as well. So you were saying that the doctor, when you were younger, right, was saying that you wouldn't be able to go to university, do things like that. What maybe you can provide a bit of context around that, explain that a bit. What motivation did that give you? Like, was it I need to prove him wrong, or like, I believe I can? Can you take us to that point in time?
Yes, I used to have epilepsy since I was 2 years old. And
Hmm.
after that, I think it
Dyslexia. Hmm.
dyslexia. I think to be
Uh-huh.
here and talking about that, I think it's a good challenge. I always going with a fear. This is
Hmm.
making me, I think, have courage. It's I'm not
Yeah.
looking like for the fear. I'm looking for
Hmm.
what I need to say, not the form. I think
Hmm.
this is so important. Sometimes the people just think I need to say like that. No, why do you like it? See and say big,
Hmm.
not by part.
Hmm.
And after that, I have MS, multiple sclerosis.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I think this is challenges that I prove that it's possible. Everything, everything.
Yeah, and which I think is so incredible. First of all, with the epilepsy, I mean, I don't, obviously, this is going back a little bit in time, right? I'm not saying that you're old, but back then, I think now there's more a familiarity, but maybe, when you had it in Brazil, I don't know what the diagnosis or prognosis was back then. Dyslexia, obviously, a little bit of a different thing. And recently read a book, This is Dyslexia, that says that 20% of the world population actually has dyslexia.
That's true.
80% of people don't. And I'm reading the book and I'm like, because my daughter has it and my mother, I'm pretty sure, has it. And I was like, ah, it's genetic.
It is.
I actually think I have it too. But anyway, different point with the dyslexia and then getting diagnosed with MS. So how was that for you? And normally for most people, they would be, knocked by it. They might give up, etc. But you, on the contrary, used it as like fuel for becoming this becoming your superpower. So can you share a little bit about that?
I think when you have a purpose in your life, you move it with your heart.
Mm,
So I love what I'm doing. I think it's not just for myself, for my soul. I think this is everyone have challenges, everyone in their life, but you need to look for the opportunity that this
mhm.
challenge can give it to you.
Yeah.
It's not like a big deal, but a great opportunity to move forward, to
Mhm,
get better, better and better. It's not just
mhm,
for you, for to say for everyone it's possible. If I'm here, I have two graduations. Today I'm an author actually, and I almost finished my third book, starting my fourth book. So even to speak in English, if you have dyslexia, it's really, really a challenging way. But why? We can do it. We can do whatever you wanted to
mhm.
do.
Yeah.
I have different skills. Maybe then other people can learn with each others, And
Mhm, mhm,
yes, we are together, actually.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
don't put the name first. Don't put dyslexia, MS, epilepsy first.
Mhm.
Put your heart first. What you
Oh, I
would
love
like
that.
it to do for improve your soul. When you
Mhm.
improve your soul, you touch another heart
Beautiful. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
say yes for the no. Because sometimes people escape for no, no, I can't do that, I can say that, I'm gonna make mistakes. But look, so kind for the word no. Okay, let's see what the no wanted to see for me.
Mhm,
Because the people just wanted to say, yes, I wanted this, yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. Stop.
mhm.
Just take care about the no too, because the life it's like this. It's not like that.
Yeah. It's
When
ups
you
and downs.
go this
Mhm,
way, you die.
mhm,
So this movement is part of the life.
mhm,
No,
mhm.
yes, no, yes. It's like a music.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful as well. And you've really incorporated mental health practices with spirituality. How did you go down that path? Was it from your own personal medical history? And how do you incorporate mental health with spirituality as well?
I think when accepted, you are open for everything in your life. When someone invites you and they are, I don't want to go, example, just why not? Why not? What I
Hmm.
needed to learn if I go. I think
Hmm.
you need to change the thoughts that you used to go with. So just accept it, accept it. The life it's give us signs all the time, all the time. But the
Hmm.
people sometimes are afraid to accept the signs. I
Hmm.
don't want to see that. I don't want to look for that. And I think what I learned in this process, the life is so short. Because when I used to have
Hmm.
epilepsy, I never know if I'm going to return.
Hmm.
And this
Hmm.
is getting me more strong and to accept it the day,
Hmm.
day by day.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is the
Hmm.
future. To look
Hmm.
for the present.
Yeah, to live in the present, right? The life is a series of now, as Eckhart Tolle says, which I
Yes,
love.
and
Yeah.
enjoy
Mm-hmm.
it. Enjoy whatever, everything
Mm-hmm.
actually. Enjoy everything because you
Yeah.
can learn in different ways. This is
So
my learning
Natalie,
with dyslexia because we can learn in different ways.
Well, this is it. It's different ways. And actually, interestingly, Katie Griggs, who wrote the book, and I hope I'm not butchering her name, This is Dyslexia. I highly recommend it for people to check it out. It's very neuroaffirmative. She was saying that the future needs more dyslexic thinking. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to be dyslexic, but dyslexics are very good at thinking outside of the box, thinking in different ways, connecting dots where other people can't, because with AI and ChatGPT, they, fixing grammar and things like that, you don't need to just memorize spellings as much, which is harder for people with dyslexia. And instead, it's more about the creativity and innovation, et cetera, that comes with dyslexic thinking. So I think that that's a very empowering way to actually realize, like, hey, you have superpowers that can be used in other contexts, and especially now going into the future with AI and technology as well. So I think it's, as you're saying, like, find the silver lining, find the benefits, like what's the good out of this thing, and know that it's for a reason, that, you're here, you have this, and can you learn from it and grow from it as well. And one thing I really noticed with you, Nataly, is your beautiful, like, positive energy and mindset, and you just kind of exude this warmth despite having challenges and things like MS, etc. I mean, for some people, they kind of just,
Yes.
shut down when they have that. But you're like, no, I'm going to to tackle this differently as well, and successfully, right? So I think that really, really plays an important role. You mentioned something before, Nataly, was the universe is always, showing you signs. There's always signs along the way. And so if someone's listening and like, oh, but I don't think I have signs in my life, I don't see them, how would you recommend people be more open to noticing when signs are coming their way of, like, what they should be trying, what they should be doing? Do you have any advice?
Yes, I think I read a book that said to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just say yes. When your child asks for you play, say yes.
Mm-hmm.
When you looking for everything around, you say thank you. Yes, I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to say here, Claudia, for you today. I don't want to go to make that. It's gonna be a big challenge for me. And I used to have my vision problem that because of MS.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to say. But the signs don't say to me that. The
Mm-hmm.
signs said she invited me. So
Mm-hmm.
why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
This is the
Uh-huh.
sign because you invite
Mm-hmm.
me. Just try. Just try. Just do your best. Why not?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I think the people's thinking about the risk. What risk? What's the risk?
And let's say, for example, if someone, or, has like an opportunity or two opportunities, right? Or whatever it might be, but trying to decide, because how do you allocate your time, right? That's the one resource that we're all limited with, although there's another conversation around what is time, but we won't go there right now. What would you say is the best way to assess opportunities if there's, two competing opportunities, so you need to dedicate either time to A or time to project B? What's the best way do you, like, tune into things?
I think the way close when it's not for you. You just need to
Mm,
accept that.
yeah.
Example. You used to have many clients, but now change it. Have just a few clients.
Hmm.
Okay. But in another way,
Mm,
you never stopped writing. Example. You
yeah.
can't stop writing. Can't you have a lot of ideas actually you
Uh-huh.
wanted to put on the paper. Okay, just go this way. Why you get
Mhm.
insisted in that? It's
Mhm.
possible you can return it to have many clients another period. But
Yeah.
when you just accept it, okay, now I need to
Mhm.
stop just writing. It's the life is
Mhm.
getting more light. You not get
Mhm.
oppression. I need to do
Yeah.
that. I need to do that. No, just okay, let's go. Let's go the way. Not fighting. Not fighting.
Yeah. Not resisting it as well. That's interesting, because I was thinking of a conversation with a friend, and maybe for people also listening, like, context. So you were saying you used to have tons of clients. Now there's less clients, but you have more time for writing. And I have another friend also who has a few less clients at the moment. We're having this conversation, and maybe it's opening up to say, use the time to be writing more as well. So I think that that's that's, I think, part of like noticing the signs of, okay, if this isn't so busy, as this isn't as usual, like what is it opening up the door? What is it giving me time to do and to focus on for other things too? So I think that's a really interesting
Mhm.
point. Yeah. So was it through your husband that you started down the path to understanding phobias better?
Yes, that's true.
Hmm.
And now we are here actually living in London. Now he can
Hmm.
travel.
I got on the
Now
plane.
he's, he's
Mhm.
fine. So yes, because during the sections, not specifically with him, but with my clients, example, clients are placed in scenarios that are closer to reality and the interactive simulation challenges and at the same time relaxing situations. So virtual reality, I think it's important to say, creates a safe and controlled space. It
Mhm.
helps clients face their fears slowly,
Mhm.
step by step, like creating new habits. So this reduces anxiety and building confidence. So it's important to emphasize that virtual reality does not replace a traditional therapy methods, but acts as a complementary tools that accelerate the treatment process.
Mhm.
So when integrated with conventional techniques, it's provide unique opportunity to enhance results, offering a practical and effective approach to various emotions and behaviors challenge. I think this tool, Claudia, represents a significant advancement in the field of
Mhm.
mental health
Yeah.
as I integrate
Okay, thank you.
visual
Uh-huh.
and the auditory and make the therapeutic process more engaging and effective. Recent studies, I think it's important to say, have shown that VR can improve learning and the retentions. For
Mhm.
instance, I study compare the effectiveness of virtual reality with traditional platforms like a computer, tablets, revealing a 10% increase in memory retentions among the
Mhm.
participants using VR. Imagine this tool for dyslexia
Mm.
with having
Mhm.
these kind of issues, even for the
Yeah.
memory.
And especially the visuals as well, which help
Yes,
dyslexic people tend to be visual as well. And so that's across the board. Was that study done on adults or on children?
another that.
Adults,
Yes.
okay. And so 10% memory increase from
Yes,
the
memory
research.
retentions among the participants using VR. Yes.
How long did they use it for? Was it daily? Like what was the protocol? Do you know?
Actually, I need to double check. I need to double check.
Okay.
It's a long
Yeah,
time
maybe
that
you
I
can
read.
send the link and we'll put it in the show notes so people
Okay.
can have a look at it
Yes.
too. But I think, I mean, especially, as we age and people are like, oh, my memory's gone, etc. If there are different innovative modalities for people to use,
Yes.
I think it's 10% is a lot, right?
Yes.
If you
It
can
is.
remember 10%. And I wonder, is it cumulative, right? So if you keep improving 10% every year, you're going to be
Yes. Yes.
have 100% memory retention would be amazing as well.
Yeah, I think I have some researchers also suggested that virtual reality can improve neuroplasticity. I think it's important to say, Claudia, encouraging the brain to form new
Synapses. Yeah,
connections,
can.
yes,
Hmm.
as clients practice and reinforcing positive behaviors in virtual settings. In education context, VR especially beneficial.
Beneficial.
Thanks for
Uh-huh.
my dyslexia, but to help
No
me
problem.
in neurodiverse individuals, such as those with uh, autism, dyslexia, by improving interactive and multisensory environments that aligns with their unique ways of learning, actually.
Hmm.
I think virtual reality is more than a tool. It's a bridge to a safer, faster, and more personalizing therapeutic education experience.
So is it all like, are there several different in the space? Like you came up basically for the virtual reality for phobias or also for other areas as well?
Yes, for another areas, actually, I think it's important to say many people ask me, what's the difference between therapy with or without VR? I think I'm gonna answer
Yeah.
after your question. The
Hmm.
answer is really simple. VR
Hmm.
helps people absorb therapeutic context better than using multiple sense at the same time. This thinking, let's gonna think example. I love examples. Thinking a chocolate cake. Therapy is the cake. Great when made with the right ingredients like knowledge, experience, and care for the client. Now imagine adding a rich chocolate frosting that makes the cake even better. That's what VR does for therapy. VR doesn't replace traditional therapy, just like a frosting doesn't replace the cake. It's an extra layer that makes the experience richer and more engaging. VR has been increasing using mental health, Claudia, in positive results in conditions such as that you asked me. Example, autism, phobia, depression, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, acute pain. I remember a good research about that. Mindfulness, among others. For example, in a post-traumatic treatments, VR allows clients to safely revisit and process a traumatic experience in a controlled environment. In mindfulness training, VR immerses using calming landscapes, enhancing focus and relations by creating immersive and controlled environment. VR enables clients to experience situations that would be difficult to recreate it in a real life. Example that I told you about my husband with an airplane. It's so hard, you can
Yeah, you
go.
couldn't try him out
Yes.
in an actual airplane, and he's like, "No, no, I want to leave," and you're like, "No,
Yes.
we're stuck in here." Yeah,
So this example, actually, you
yeah,
could gradually face each step for the experience from entering an airport to taking off in a scenario that it was adjusted in a real time by the therapist. While observing the scenario, breathing techniques and the relaxation exercise were introduced to help deactivate the sympathetic nervous systems, activated the parasympathetic.
parasympathetic nervous
Yes,
system.
much
Yeah.
like shifting the balance of
Uh-huh.
a seesaw. It's like that, like a seesaw. This shift promotes a state of calming, reduce anxiety, stress, while enhancing the therapeutic exercise. In my first book, Claudia, The Phobias Faced with Courage, I mentioned that the case study of Clara. Her name has been changed, but she's a real client. Clara shares that just thinking about going to the hospital made her feel scary, really, really scary. Because of this, she avoided blood tests for 4 years, around 4 years, and didn't take vaccine for 6 years. I think that number. In our sessions, we use the virtual reality to simulate hospital scenarios, like getting a blood test. Example. This helps her practice managing her symptoms in a
Yeah.
safe and controlled environment. This helps her practice to manage her symptoms over time. It's really, really nice. She learned how to handle her emotions and physical sensations step by step. And thankfully, after a treatment plan that combine different techniques, include virtual reality. It's not like just virtual reality. It's important to say. Clara overcomes her fears. Now she can even donate blood. So it's amazing.
So I wonder, Nancy, just to
Yeah.
ask there, with is it because they're doing the visual simulation of what it would be like to go into the hospital, to wait,
Yes.
to know that you're going to be pricked by a needle, like things like this, right? And the first time they do it, even in virtual reality, I could imagine that it triggers, the increase in heart rate, etc. Like it must trigger still fear in virtual reality, I think.
Yes.
I don't know. And then each time they do it again and again, they realize, okay, I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm safe. And so it's rewiring that neural pathway to trigger I'm in danger to actually realize like I'm safe, I'm okay, I
Yes.
can stay in the parasympathetic.
Yes.
Is that what's
Yes.
happening? And how many sessions are needed, or it depends
Depends.
on the client?
Depends. But
But super
I can say
innovative.
it's. I have a study example in the area like specific for phobias. There is a
Yeah.
study with 23 people with spider phobias that use
Mm.
VR. I think this is very interesting to say. During
Hmm.
the sessions, participants surely got close to a virtual spider step by
Hmm.
step.
Uh-huh.
These results was impressive.
Hmm.
83% of them showed much less fear just using VR, okay? Some even managed to get closer to a real tarantula with little or not anxiety. And have
Wow.
another study that involves 18 volunteers with a fear of heights, yes, and acrophobia.
Oh, fear of heights.
Height,
Heights. Okay.
yes,
Hmm. Yeah.
acrophobia.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
participants underwent blend scan before,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
nice, and after a virtual exposed therapy treatment. The VR simulations involve walking on a transparent platform, imagine,
Okay. Wow.
above a canal of 800 meters. And
Uh-huh.
after 80 exposure sections, eight, okay, the results showed significant improvement in acrophobia symptoms,
Hmm.
along with change in brain metabolism in areas related to anxiety and fear.
Hmm.
This study suggests that virtual exposure therapy can
Hmm.
lead to neurobiological changes in the brain.
Yeah, because the brain doesn't know what's real or not, right?
Yes.
That's why they say
Yeah.
like mindset is so big, being careful your NLP, right? What the words you use, because it doesn't know, is it you're just saying it, or are you really, people say like, oh, I'm stupid or something, like, don't say that, because your brain will show you examples of you being like that as well. I mean, walking at such a high height, even in virtual reality, I'm already like, wow. And not that I would consider myself scared of heights,
Yeah.
but definitely, on a clear, transparent platform at like a very, very high level, I think your body triggers a bit of fight or flight. So it's amazing that they can go in just a few sessions from
80
terror,
sections.
essentially, like being so scared, to being relaxed, walking on a platform like this.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
even for
Wow.
the pain, I think it's not just for phobia that remember that I would like to say about the pain, the
Hmm.
acute pain. One study showed that virtual reality therapy lowered activities in the a part of the brain that sense of pain. It also reduced activity in the anterior
Anterior.
cingulate cortex, yes,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
which controls emotion reactions to pain. Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
the study found changes in the frontal cortex, the
Hmm.
brain area that helps manage pains. So actually, this is amazing. Imagine these tools in at hospitals.
Yeah, exactly. For people with chronic pain as well. And it's interesting, as you were talking, I've had guests on who also work in, particularly in the US, with psychedelic assisted therapy, also with like ketamine and things like this too, also for treating chronic pain, but even PTSD, etc. So I even wonder, and I don't know, has there been studies, or do you know
Yes, there is.
if there's anyone who's done like psychedelic assisted therapy coupled with virtual reality therapy as well?
Yes, I studied. I read a few weeks ago actually study with 57 people showing
Yeah.
virtual reality can help explore spirituality in a new way. People said they felt strong emotions and had insights about themselves after using virtual reality. They compare it to mystical experience with psilocybin.
Psilocybin.
Perfect.
Hmm. Yeah.
A
Psilocybin.
compound in mushrooms.
Yeah.
The
Magic
VR
mushroom.
experience use lights, sounds, and movement to
Hmm.
make people feel connected to
Hmm.
something bigger,
Hmm.
bring calm and deep
Hmm.
thoughts about life and purpose. So imagine they compare it a mystical experience with psilocybin.
Psilocybin.
Psilocybin. So imagine the power of these
Mhm.
tools, even
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
situations. And it was like a interesting research. It's like 57 people showing that it helps him for this
Wow.
way. So
I know these are outcomes I think are so amazing. I mean, also in the psychedelic space of,
yes,
SSRIs, right? So the antidepressants that people are put on, and there is a case obviously for different circumstances, etc. It's shown that they're very quick to be put on them. For example, even women with menopausal symptoms are thought to need an SSRI, which is obviously maybe looking at the hormones first, but that's a different conversation. And so the effectiveness of the SSRIs, if you compare it to a psychedelic assisted therapy, I'm more familiar with the research on that. I mean, you're looking at outcomes with the psychedelic assisted therapy of like 70, 80+% success
yes,
versus with the SSRIs, it's just, maintaining, managing symptoms. There's no reversal of symptoms or success from it as well. So it sounds so promising with the virtual reality too, that it's another modality that is so powerful and strong to help people with certain mental health things. And, it's such a huge topic coming out of COVID. I think there was a real mental health pandemic that was coming about and, for phobias, but also for other things as well. A question, Nataly, what is the virtual reality therapy not for? Are there certain mental health conditions where you would say it wouldn't be very helpful or beneficial?
uh, although virtual reality is a powerful tool, it's important, Claudia. It's a good question to note that in some cases it can cause nausea, dizziness. This happens because the eyes see movement,
Hmm.
but the body stay still.
Yeah.
They avoid these therapeutics can make sessions shorter
Hmm.
and slower based on how each person feels. Developers are working to improve VR by slowing down virtual movements and
Hmm.
making the image better. Helps reduce discomfort. It's also important to know that a very small percent of people's around about 20 to 25% may
Hmm.
have seizures
Hmm.
caused by light, especially those with epilepsy. For me, it's opposite actually. I never feel nothing. I just feel bad, good things actually.
Yeah.
So, but it's
Yeah.
important to mention because this is a
Yeah.
study, and
Uh-huh.
study shows that with the right adjustments, over 90% of people can use virtual reality without major issues. So I
Hmm.
think it's a high number actually.
But is there like for certain conditions? So you mentioned like for phobias, it's very beneficial for
Yes.
PTSD, autism, like let's say schizophrenia, bipolar, certain conditions like that. Can virtual reality help, or is that not really a use case?
Yes, it's help in different ways.
Really?
Yes, in different
Wow.
ways. Yes.
Yeah. So for people interested in learning more and maybe trying it themselves, like are there many practitioners in the world, Nataly, that use this, or where should people go to find out more about it?
Actually, there are many places, companies actually, they are developing softwares
Hmm.
for different
Hmm.
abilities, different actually approaches. So,
Hmm.
example, and even that there are a lot of researchers doing at the same point. That I remember example, I studied with 15 people facing several depression. I think it's
Hmm.
important to add this. Use a virtual reality session lasting 3 to 8 minutes over
Hmm.
6 weeks. Participants attended one sections per week.
Hmm.
In these sessions, they comfort a crying avatar by speaking a compassionate word.
Hmm.
Later, the rule is reversed, and
Reverse,
the
yeah. Hmm.
participants experience receiving a compassionate word from another
Hmm.
virtual avatar. The
Hmm.
results show it a big drop in several of depression and self-criticism. At the same
Hmm.
time, it was a significant increase in self compassion, showing the power of VR can be in a therapy. So, returning your question about, you can find the example. There's a software specific for psychology, even for use at the hospital. We have specific companies. So, even for I have the example that is study that I told you. about the energies and the spirituality, a new way example, have a company specific to develop this kind of software, and this is we
Hmm.
can found in the internet. It's easier, and you have to pay. Used to have to pay a fee like per month to can
Hmm.
use it, this program, and you just need to have the headset for that.
Hmm. And do people need to purchase the headset or
Yes.
could you rent it? You have
Depends.
to purchase it? Okay.
Depends. The
Hmm.
company and the
Hmm.
company that I used to work at, actually, that I
Hmm.
created.
Uh-huh.
It's like you pay for monthly, and you have
Hmm.
yes, all the environments, and you can access even the protocols, how to use it, and you have after the sections you have some exercise. So yes, you have everything in the package
Included in that too.
included. Yes.
Yeah. And if somebody's looking for a practitioner, like a therapist that's trained in this, is there something they should look out for? Any certain type of qualification? Is there like a gold standard or
No,
just
it's just
somebody
a
who's
tool.
trained in virtual
It's
reality?
just a tool that I used to do some courses, for the
Hmm.
people have a knowledge to how to work it. We use these tools and the sections,
Yeah.
but you don't need to have some, degrees specific for doing that because it's like a tool to complement a therapy.
Yeah. Okay. So they once they have it, then the software is already programmed in
Yes,
such a way that it's helpful.
yes.
Okay. Amazing. So I'd love to touch on your book again. I know you wrote it as a tribute to your husband. You were saying as well, phobia facing with courage for people maybe with phobias. And I mean, just thinking myself personally, I have friends who have, fear of flying, fear of heights. I'm sure some other people have other ones. At one stage in my life, I had a fear of deep water. I think I watched too many Jaws movies when I was little, thinking the shark is going to come. Thankfully, that's through as well. Who would you recommend to read the book?
Everyone, not specific for the people who have some
Mhm.
phobia. I think the book is for, inspire a courage inside of you, to make more. It's I created the courage method to help people facing emotion challenge, not specific for phobia. Life involves building. Just see the first word for the word courage. Life involves building confidence, and now I explain how to get that.
Mhm.
Obtain O, obtain emotional independence. R, relax and breathing. A, accepting your emotions. G, guiding your thoughts. E, establishing a plan. Taking one small step at a time to move forward. And finding motivation and joy. Celebrate because motivate M and courage in English, in Portuguese M. Okay, and then
Yeah.
motivate and joy. Celebrate small wins and prove your process. Imagine if I put it in my book and explain each word. Actually,
Mhm.
it's not for someone has a phobia. It's for
Mhm.
everyone. How
It's
to
universal.
even
Yeah. Beautiful. And let's talk about future and what looking towards the future. Are there any specific goals that you hope to achieve in the world of mental health, or how do you see the future of mental health, and what are some things that you see developing that you are excited about?
that we talking about. I truly believe it. We are talking a lot about virtual reality. I think it's good to say again, has the potential to transform mental health care in the present and the future. As technology improves, I think VR will become easier to use, more affordable, and more personalized. This would more people to benefit from it, either in therapy session, hospitals, educations, even at home. Why not? In my opinion, VR also shows incredible promise in education. I think this is most important for me. It's really, I think, because of my background,
Mhm.
especially for neurodiverse individuals, like those with dyslexia. Studies suggestions VR can improve focus, understand, and engagement by offering interactive and multisensory experience. For example, I believe immersive environments can turn abstract ideas into something tangible and makes easier for studies with dyslexia to process information. Like a study with dyslexia might find it hard to understand how planets, example, orbits the sun. With virtual reality, they can enter an environment where they see the planet. Imagine, my God, if I had this in
You
when
see
I
them
was,
going around.
yes,
Amazing.
and
Yeah.
moving and watch
Uh-huh.
the solar system. Wow, you know what? It was
Mhm.
amazing. If they were there, he can escape it. You know, he
Yeah. He's in the solar system, sliding on Saturn's rings.
this project makes
Mhm.
the concept
Mhm.
easier to understand. I can look at. Imagine if I had these tools when I was child. It's going to
Yeah,
be
for learning.
really. It's not for specific for the people who has dyslexia. You know, for
Mhm, mhm.
everyone.
For children in general, yeah. I mean, how cool is that to experience the solar system and fly in outer space to be like, ah, there's Pluto, there's well, it's not even a planet anymore, but Saturn and Jupiter, etc.
And
Yeah.
I will.
Do you think that that could be a standardized tool for teaching and
Yeah,
education in the future?
yes, for the present.
Hmm.
For the
For the
present,
present, yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Even also think for hospitals could use more VR to provide relaxed environments because the people can escape. Imagine.
yeah.
Or distraction techniques during treatments, making the experience less stressful and more manageable. I feel VR is on the path to become a powerful tool for building more inclusive and effective approach to mental health and well-being. I also
Mhm.
believe that this technology can help many, many, many students who learn differently.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
so. So I think
yeah.
this is for the present and the future, answering your question.
No, I think it's very exciting. I know speaking with someone who was like, "Oh, it's an escapism," right? So
Mhm.
some people also maybe critiques of virtual reality. It's like you're escaping reality instead of, let's say, going inside. What would you say to a criticism like that?
I show it many researchers that helps in different ways.
Hmm.
So it's not about me, my opinion, it's about researchers.
Sure.
So I
Hmm.
think we have this answer. So it's
Hmm.
a rich therapy. I think when you use
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
correctly way, I think
Yeah.
we can improve many things. So
Yeah. And it's only a few minutes, right? You were saying it's like a 8 minute,
not
10 minute
you not
session.
recommend using more than 20 minutes, so
Hmm.
it's a short period,
Yeah.
and if you working with the balance of your hormones, even the parasympathetic sympathetic, you have
Hmm.
to manage, you have the good ways, you just
Hmm.
use the traditional tools, you just put it in a VR.
As the layer on top. Yeah, like you were
Yes,
mentioning.
yes.
Amazing. Natalie, for my listeners interested in understanding more about increasing their knowledge around sort of different modalities, particularly maybe even around virtual reality for mental health conditions, is there like, books, obviously your book, right? But any other resources or online resources you would recommend they start with?
Yes, I can. I made some documents about just researches,
Hmm.
and I can share if you like it. I can
Hmm.
translate. It's in Portuguese actually, but I can translate for in English, and you can find in this a lot of researches. So yes, it's
Hmm.
possible,
Yeah, and
and
we'll
I can
link the
share. I
research.
can share with you. Let's just translate for in English, and I can
Yeah.
share with you. But
Or do you have it on a website somewhere? Do you have a website
I
where
have
you'd
it.
send
I
people
have
to?
it, and I can send it, and I can put it there. Some things I have a many. I did almost 200 interviews. So
Well, yeah.
yes, and almost for VR.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So I think I have it in English and Portuguese there, so
Mhm.
you can see the
Yeah, and
searches and yes, studies in
yeah,
my
and people
website.
can translate.
Yes,
Yeah,
in my
people can
website.
translate the page.
Yes.
What's the URL for your website, Natalie? And we can link it in the show
Uh,
notes as well.
www that
Hmm.
Nataly
Hmm.
Martinelli
Uh-huh.
that Uh,
Dot
yeah,
com. Perfect. So, and Natalie is with a Y at the end, but
yes.
for everyone listening or watching, we will link it in the show notes so you can find it there as well. And where can people follow what you're up to on social media? Do you have any social media handle that you would like to share with people?
Yes, my Instagram, it's like my name. It's like the same.
Hmm.
Yes, keep in touching, keep in touching.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll link that in the show notes as well. Natalie, do you have any final ask or recommendation or any parting thoughts or message for my audience today?
um, yes, if I could leave one message, it would be about the word that moves me, that we
Hmm.
started to talking about
Hmm.
courage. Courage, it's not the absence of fear. It's about moving forward despite. It's about believing that every step, no matter how small, is proof of your strength. So when you let yourself feel with kindness and acceptance, you open the door to real growth. Courage isn't just about facing fear, it's about growing beyond and becoming the best version of yourself.
So here's to more courage. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Natalie, for coming on today. Thank you, everyone, for listening and checking out the podcast. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you for having me.